We are joined now by the government's new skills ambassador, Scott Cam. Now, this hasn't been a very controversial appointment, but the paycheck certainly is. $350,000 for 18 months. Scott Cam, thank you for your time. What are taxpayers getting out of that paycheck?
Well, look, I'm travelling around the country. We kick it off today. We're bringing awareness to vet pathways. I think that folks at home have been for the last number of years directing their kids into universities and wanting them to go there, and my role is to get people thinking about VET courses and telling them what's out there, career-wise and course-wise, and where those courses will lead them. There's 4,500 learning facilities out there, private and government, and my role around the country over the next 18 months is to bring awareness to that.
Now, this is your first media appearance in 5 months since your role was announced. We've found out from Senate estimates that $145,000 has been paid to you. We've seen 3 short videos out of that, 4 Facebook and Instagram posts, and an engagement hub port. Is that a good deal for taxpayers?
Well, look, if you did your homework and knew what you were talking about, you'd work out that all of the tours and appointments that we're going to see are school-based or education facilities like TAFEs and things like that. Now, over the summer, all of those facilities are closed, so there's no students here. I think that would be a waste of taxpayers' money if I was standing in an empty school, wouldn't you? So therefore, we're always planned to start this tour in February, and that's what we're doing today, February, March, and we're kicking it off. We're travelling around the country, and that was always the case. So all you've got to do is ask the question before you make the statements.
No, that's why we're here now, to ask those questions, because in that time you could have done media appearances, or in the alternative, you could have had your contract start from February, could you not?
Well, the whole thing, that's why it's been 18 months. That's why it's not a 12-month contract. That's why it's an 18-month contract. So I have been doing some appearances. I've been doing many, many interviews like this one. So I'm bringing awareness to the situation as it is. The government wanted to use my brand to get the information out there. I've worked for 20-odd years in the industry. I've worked for 40-odd years in the building industry. So I have a high profile, and the government wanted to utilise that.
Whereabouts have those interviews been? Because I haven't really seen much of your media presence in that time.
I've done lots of ABC radio. I've done lots of every interview I've ever done in the past 5 months for various things for my TV show, The Block. I've always asked in every single interview about this careers ambassadorship. So the profile is getting out there throughout those interviews. And I mean, I've done the interviews. Whether you've heard them or not is not up to me. So
in this schools program, exactly how many are you planning to do?
Well, it's state-based. We'll be going around. We've got, at the moment, we've got about 12 or 13 appearances booked in every state, travelling the country. It's a month-to-month basis at the moment. We've certainly got 12 booked in, but there'll be more coming.
What are your KPIs for this contract? What do you need to hit? Is there a certain level of engagement with students? Is there a certain profile that you have to build?
Oh, look, I think what we're trying to achieve is more enrolments in TAFEs and VET programs. Our targets are an increase in those numbers, and that's what we're aiming to do. We're aiming to get young kids thinking about vet. Although university is fantastic, pardon me, we want to get young people thinking about vet first.
And what are the metrics? How many engagements do you have to do as part of your contract?
Oh, well, look, there's a number of appointments that I'm going to see. We've got 12 booked in at the moment. We've got to, and there'll be more added to that. I don't have the exact numbers on me.
So do you think
there's a number of interviews as well?
Then?
There's a number of interviews. Yeah, well, yes, of course I do, because that is the value of the brand and the profile that the government seemed fit to pay me. I mean, that's what they paid me.
So you didn't negotiate that salary at all? The government just offered you $350,000 for 18 months?
My management and the government discussed the fee. That's none of your business. That's a commercial arrangement. How that came about is between my management, myself and the government.
I wouldn't say it's not any of my business, but it certainly is taxpayer business. This is taxpayer money.
Well, the amount is taxpayers' business. How that came about, that's my business, because that's what my business is. That's what I do for a living. My business is my brand, and lending that to companies and businesses to get the message out there. That's what my business is. Would you tell me how much you earn, please?
I don't get paid by taxpayers.
Well, I'm getting paid by taxpayers at the moment for this, but I mean, it seems to be that my financial affairs, I don't work for the government as such. I'm not a politician. So the government is hiring me on a business level.
They're hiring you with taxpayer money, though. I certainly wouldn't ask you what you're making at Nine, although I'm sure many would be curious. But it's just when it is taxpayer money, taxpayers deserve to know what they're getting, if they're getting bang for their buck.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure I've explained that today to you, and many times after.
Scott, Cam, thank you for your time.
Thank you.